Hello, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Vivian, and today I want to show you how to draft a long sleeve for shirts. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, I say a very big welcome to you. Please do hit on that subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell beside it so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And I also say a very big welcome to all my old subscribers. Thank you for coming back. So now let's proceed into drafting our long sleeve for shirts. To draft your long sleeve, you need to place your paper on fold. Or if you're cutting on fabric, you need to place your fabric on fold. So the length of fabric to fold is your armhole measurements. Okay, you know the armhole you placed on your shirt. The armhole measurement plus at least 2 inches. Okay, so my armhole measurement is 8 inches plus 2 inches, and that is 10 inches. So I'll fold my fabric on 10 inches. So I have 10.5 here, and that is still okay. Okay, so now by the time you have placed your fabric on fold, it will be necessary to mark the edge as a starting point, because sometimes when you fold your paper, you don't have even edge at the top. So you just mark like about ½ inch from the top of the paper. So that will be your starting point. Okay, so by the time you have marked it, the next thing is to place your measurements. So be placing the length of the sleeve. So to make a long sleeve, you need to place the elbow point and the wrist point, okay, which is also the length of the sleeve. So in this case, the sleeve will be having a curve, so I need to minus the length of the curve from the total length of the sleeve. Okay, so I'll be having a curve of 3 inches. So like what you can see on this shirt, this is the long sleeve. Okay, so and this is the curve here. So this is the curve. So this makes up the complete length of the shirt. So for my sleeve, to draft my sleeve, I will minus the length of the curve from the total length of my sleeve. Okay, so the total length of my sleeve is 24 inches, and I want my curve to be 3 inches. So 24 minus 3, that is 21. Okay, so 21 will be the length of my sleeve. So I'll place the length of my sleeve from this point. Okay, so I'll mark 21. Now I would also add ½ inch. So the ½ inch is to join it to the curve. So I'm marking at 21.5. Okay, so I would also make the points somewhere here just to help me extend my line. Okay, just to help me draw a straight line. So this is it. So this is the length of my sleeve. Okay, I would also mark my elbow points. So from the shoulder, okay, from that is the top of my hand to my elbow is 14 inches. So I would also mark it. So this is my elbow points. Okay, so now I'll also make a line at this point. So by the time you have done this, now you place your sleeve caps height. Okay, so to get your sleeve caps height is your bust circumference divided by 12 plus 0.5. okay, so this is when you're making for female, that is when you're making the sleeve for a female. But for a male, it is the round chest measurement. Okay, the chest measurement divided by 12 plus 0.5. that is how you get the sleeve caps height. So the sleeve caps height is the top part of the sleeve. So mine is 4 inches. So from the starting point, you mark your sleeve caps height. So mine is 4 inches. So I'm marking it there. Now to extend the line. Okay, so this is my sleeve caps height. Okay, the distance between the starting point and this point is my sleeve caps height. Now on this mark, on this line, I'm going to place my armhole length. So my armhole length is 8 inches, but I'll add 1 inch for ease at the armpit area. Okay, so you don't want it to be tight. So 8 plus 1, that is 9. I'll mark at 9 inches. Okay, so this is it. Now at this point, you draw a line to this edge here. So just make a line straight to this edge. Okay, and you have it there. So by the time you have made this line, by the time you have drawn this line, you measure it. Just measure the line. So whatever you have, find the midpoint. So I have 10 inches here, and the midpoint is 5 inches. Okay, so now at that midpoint, you step up by ½ inch. Just come up by ½ inch, like so. So by the time you have done this, extend, make a line to join this point from the midpoint here. So you just make a line like so. Okay, so you can see this. By the time you have done this, the next thing is to make a curve. You make a curve from this point to this point. So just make a curve. You can do this with your free hand. So what you need is just to make a curve from this point to this point here. Okay, and we'll have it there. Now you also come to this other point here, the down one. You also make another curve to this edge. So this is it. So we'll have it there. Now, having done this, you still make another curve from this point connecting to this point. So this is for the front part of the sleeve, which is deeper than the back part, which is deeper than the back. So have it there. Okay, so this is it. So make sure it's connected to this point and have it there. So now we'll be marking our sleeve, our round sleeve. So you mark the round elbow and the round wrist. Okay, so my round elbow is 12 inches. So 12 inches divided by 2, because the paper is on fold. 12 inches divided by 2, that is 6. Okay, so I'll mark 6. So now I'm making a shirt sleeve, and I want it to be loose, a bit loose. It's not going to be tight, to be a bit free. So I'll be adding ½ inch. So what I will mark there is 6.5. Okay, as my actual measurement. I've not added seam allowance yet. Then at the wrist, my round sleeve is round wrist is 8 inches. Then I would add extra allowance for pleats. Usually you see pleats on our long sleeve. You can see this. So I'll add 1 inch for the pleats. So I can pleat half by ½ inch, ½ inch and another ½ inch. So I'll add 1 inch for my pleat. Then also add another ½ inch for overlapping. You know, when you want to button the shirt, it's one side have to overlap the other side. So I'll add ½ inch for that. So like I said, my round wrist is 8 inches. 8 inches divided by 2, that is 4. Plus 1 inch for the pleats. So I'll add 1 inch for the pleats. Then I'll add ½ inch for the overlapping at the wrist area, to overlap the cuff. Okay, so that is it. So that is it. So 4 inches for my wrist, 1 inch for my pleats, and ½ inch for my overlapping. This is it. Now I would connect these points from the armhole. So I'll connect the points. So just place your ruler to meet from your armhole to your wrist. Okay, and have it there. So have it there, just from your elbow to your wrist. So when you're sewing, you sew through the elbow to the wrist. Okay, so you know why we have it, as we have extra here because of the pleat. By the time you have pleated what you have there, it would match up. Okay, so this is it. Now I would add my seam allowance. So I'll be adding 1 inch seam allowance. So this 1 inch seam allowance. I'll go ahead and connect. So just from the armhole to the wrist, just connect and have it here. Okay, So it is time to cut out. So I'll go ahead now and cut out. So after cutting it out this way, you need to open it up, then cut out the front. Okay, you know this is the front, which is deeper than the back side. So cut out the front like so. You have it there. So this is my long sleeve for shirt, okay, and also for other things. Okay, so this is just the basic long sleeve. So the reason why I call it for shirt is just because of the cuff. Okay, but if you're making other dresses, other even blouses, you can use this basic sleeve, okay, without subtracting the down part for cuff. So this is just a basic long sleeve. Okay, so now we'll cut the cuff. So to cut my cuff, I've placed my paper on fold. Okay, so at this part I'll just draw a line as my starting point. So this is just my starting point. Okay, now from this point I'll mark the length of my curve. So when you're drafting your curve, is drafted the way we draft collar. So you will cut on interfacing. So whatever you are cutting here, you'll be cutting it on interfacing before cutting on your fabric. Okay, so you take the exact length you minus from your shirt. So I minus 3 inches. So I'll mark at 3 inches. Okay, so this is my 3 inches. Okay, so I just want to draw a line. So I'm just making the point to help me with the line. So this is the length of my curve. Okay, so having done this now, what I'll do now is to take my round wrist. Okay, so my round wrist plus the ½ inch. Remember I said the sleeve will have to overlap. So the round wrist is 8 inches. So divide by 4, divide by 2, that is 4 inches. So that is 4 inches plus ½ inch. Okay, plus ½ inch for the overlapping. So that is 4.5. So I'll still measure it here. 4.5. Okay, then I would connect. So just connect it. So this is it. Okay, this is my curve. So by the time I have done this, at this down part I'll just make a curve. So you can just like measure ½ inch from this point. You just come in by ½ inch and you connect it from this other side. Just make a curve. Okay, so you don't really need to measure it. What you do, just make a curve, and that is it. So now I would cut it out. So this is my cuff. Okay, so now the cuff will be attached to the sleeve after you have sewn your sleeve. So you have to take in the seam allowance. So after you have sewn your sleeve and also pleated, you know, like I said, we'll have pleats. So by the time you have pleated your 1 inch, okay, by the time you have pleated your 1 inch, then it would match up. The sleeve would match up with your cuff, and you have it like this. Okay, so you can see our shirt sleeve. So you have to stitch it. Then make your pleats, then join the cuff, and this is it. Okay, so you can see our sleeve, our long sleeve for shirt. So this is simply how to draft your long sleeve for shirt and also cut out your cuff. So by